Hi everyone. Okay, so today I am going to be showing you this really cute kit that I purchased. So I absolutely love this fabric and I've been using it in a lot of projects lately. So this is the Scandi mini stocking advent panels, and I purchased mine from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. I'll put a link in the comments to it. Everything you need is pretty much in the kit. You get the panel and the backing for the stocking, so you really just need thread and however you would like to string it together with ribbon, yarn, just pretty much anything you really want to use. I ended up using ribbon. I had some on hand, so I just went ahead and used that, and it just came together pretty quickly. Even though there's 24 little stockings, it was a really quick and fun sew. I didn't really have to think about it much. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys what I did to kind of make it come together nicely and a little bit more quickly. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's take a look at how we are going to make these mini stocking advent calendars panels. I just can't wait to finish it and see how it looks and figure out what I'm going to put in each stocking for both of my kids. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun. Okay, so the nice thing is this project package comes with the backing and the stockings. So the only thing I'm really gonna need is the thread and whatever ribbon that I want to use to string everything together. So not a lot of extra things that I'll really need. So let's take a look. I know that it kind of tells me on here, place backing fabric right side down, place stocking fabric on top, right side up. So that means our fabric's going to be wrong side together. I'm going to press all this, but I'm just going to take a look at what I need to do to put this together. So I think basically all I have to do to make this work is cut around these and sew. I don't think there's any batting or quilting that is going to be done per se. It's mostly a sewing project. So I'm putting these wrong side together because you want the toe of the stocking to be facing the proper way. If we didn't have these lined up right, I could end up with the right side of the stocking facing one way and then the right side of the backing fabric toe facing the other way, and everything wouldn't line up properly, which we don't want to happen. So I think what I'm going to do is press these, put everything out together, make sure I have enough fabric covering where I need to cut, and then put a few pins on each stocking just to make sure my fabric doesn't shift as I'm cutting. And then I'm just going to use my fabric scissors and cut around. So you can see they already built in the seam allowance. It shows you the line to cut on, and then you'll see the line that you sew. So that seam allowance is built in for you. On the top of the stocking, you fold that seam allowance down and top stitch across it so that you have your opening available. And you do that on the front stocking and the backing of the stocking. So if you don't like this fabric and you want to use your own fabric to do this, I think it'd be really simple. You just find a pattern for a stocking in the size that you want, and then you could go to like Joann's or Hobby Lobby, get the numbers and just iron them on. Or if you have a Cricut, you could print them yourself and iron them on. I think it'd be really easy to do. You could even use the stocking template I have on my December 1st video that is scheduled to air. There's a link in there to a stocking template, and you could just size it down to the size that you want. Just when you go to print just move that percentage down to maybe 75, 60, whatever you think would be a good size for your stocking. And you could use that and just cut out stockings from your own fabric and put your own numbers on. So that'd be a fun way to customize it to what you would like. So I'm going to press both of these fabrics really good, use a lot of starch, make it crisp. I'll put a pin or two in each stocking, connecting it with the backing fabric so that I can cut around and don't have a lot of shifting, and get started on putting these together. I'm really excited. I love this fabric. I've been using it on a bunch of December Christmas projects right now. So I'm excited to see these. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, so I'm over at my pressing area and I just have everything cut. I have the front and backs pinned together because when I go to sew these, I want to make sure I keep them all together because my cuts are going to be a little different on each stocking. They're not going to match up completely right unless I keep my one that I cut together front and back. Now, the first thing I need to do though is get the tops of my stockings pressed down because I'm going to be top stitching each side of them. So what I think will work the best is if I get that 1/4 inch seam allowance on the backing as well, because it's not marked for me. So I have this handy little cute cuts that I got in one of my subscription boxes that has a nice 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you can also see, like, my cut is not that straight. I'm not that great of cutting accurately with my scissors. So I'm gonna line it up the best I can along there. And I'm using this chalk marker to mark my line. It's gray, so I think if it shows up somehow, doesn't wipe off, it'll match most of my coloring. So I have that marked. And what I think will work best, because I want to fold these to the wrong side, is use that marking line as a basis for folding this in. And then I'm going to press it, try not to get my my fingers, right? Okay, and then what we need to happen is have the top and the backing match up nicely so that, you know, it looks like all nice and even. Okay. It looks like it turned out pretty good. Now, I'm going to use my best press and spray it lightly. And do another press. I did starch this fabric, but I really want that to stay nice and crisp because I'm gonna prep all these and just chain piece them, top stitching it. So I really need that to hold. So what I'm going to do after I finish pressing all 24 of these, when I get over to the sewing machine to keep them together, I'm going to remove the pins and I'll top stitch across one, the front, then top stitch again along the backing for number one so that they're right together, chain piece it along. And then when I get to number two, I'll take the pins out, top stitch, and then top stitch against the backing as well, and just keep going till I get all 24. Then I'll be able to put these right sides together after I get them all done. I'll put my pins back in to hold them together. And then I'll be able to follow that line. I can still see it for the 1/4 inch seam allowance and go around and sew them. Then I'll probably trim my seam allowance down just so that I get a nice crisp turn. Maybe use my pinking shears along the toe and the heel, or just cut some slits in if needed so that it turns nicely. But yeah, that's my plan, to keep these all together so that I know I'm pairing the ones I cut together back together, because otherwise I don't think they'll line up as nicely for sewing if I get them mixed up. Okay, you guys, I have my advent all finished. It was actually a pretty quick sew. It could definitely be done in a day if you have time to just sit and work on it. Yeah, it was really cute. The only thing I would say is I probably should have glued my stockings together a little bit closer. It really is a long panel. The way I sewed it or glued it, I could probably have put them 3 inches together rather than 4, but either way, I have a perfect spot for it in our dining area, and our table runner for Christmas and our place settings are gonna be the same fabric line. So I think it's gonna look really cute in there once I get whatever treats I decide to put in there and get it all strung up. So let me know in the comments what you think. Like I said, I'll put a link to this kit down in the description of this video. But I also think you could totally do this with whatever fabric you wanted. Just print out a stocking template, use whatever fabric you'd like on the front and back, and just put numbers on using a Cricut if you have one, or you can get little iron-on numbers and stickers from Hobby Lobby, Joann's, any of those stores. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could just write them on yourself if you wanted, but there's a lot of options to do this on your own if you don't want to buy the kit. Maybe this isn't your color scheme that you'd be interested in, but you could do it on your own. I'll put a link to my stocking template that I'm going to be using on day 1 of my 12 Christmas fabric project countdown. There's a stocking template in one of my blog posts that I'm going to be showing you how to use for the day 1 December 1st project, but you could use it for this and just size down the project before you print it. So I'll put that in the description if you need help with that. Okay, you guys, that's it for now. I will see you next time, and take care. Bye.